Welcome to World of Warcraft, a game that has been out for over 20 years and has tens of thousands of items ranging from mounts, gear, achievements, pets, and much more. I have been playing this game for over 13 years and I've always thought to myself to be a completionist or a collector. Well, until I saw my progress. I came across a YouTuber named Shax not too long ago, a smaller creator, doing a challenge called the Expansion Locked, where he picks an expansion and gets locked inside of it until he's 100% complete. I caught myself watching his videos and streams so much that I decided to take on the same challenge but with a random expansion, random race, and a random class. I will be streaming my progress over on Twitch, twitch.tv/orthvader, if you want to come watch it live or catch the VODs posted here on YouTube after the stream. The link for Shax's videos will also be in the description of this video. I definitely recommend you go watch his video and subscribe if you like to see this type of content. Okay, let's get into my version. Okay, the rules for my expansion lock series comes as follows. 1. I will spin a wheel to pick an expansion for myself to get locked into. 2. Once I step into that expansion, I cannot leave that expansion until I achieve 100%. Now this may be a little different because there are quests, dungeons, and raids, etc. in most expansions where you have to leave that current expansion to achieve 100%. I am going to be allowed to do this content, but I'll have to return after right away. 3. I am not allowed to use the auction house or withdraw items from my warbank or guild ball. 4. I will have one main character with a race and class chosen at random. Since I main Horde normally, it will have to be Alliance. This will at least help in certain expansions where there are faction specific items and amounts to farm, and I have most on the Horde side, but almost none on the Alliance. I currently have over 30 characters where I do current content such as raids, PvP, and dungeons on them. I am not going to be allowed to farm the content on these characters in my chosen expansion. Some may come by accident by doing current content such as time walking, but I won't go into the expansion trying to help out my characters. Whichever expansion this lands on, I will try to ignore unlocking items on my already created characters that are not in the series. Now what is my end goal? The end goal is to achieve a whopping 100% in whichever expansion the wheel lands on. To fully achieve completion, I will need all reps, all mounts, all gear, all pets, all achievements, and probably much more, which then would lead me to unlock a new expansion after this one is complete, and continue until I achieve 100% on all the expansions. Or until I become psychotic. This may take a while. Okay, let's find out where we are going to be locking ourselves into. And we get TBC Lich King TBC. We will lock ourselves into the Burning Crusade. TBC is actually when I first started. It's the first expansion I ever played, near the end, but still technically TBC. Now on to which race we are going to be making. We are going to be making a gnome. Really? I don't know if I've ever leveled a gnome before. Guess this is the first time for everything, sadly. Which class will be for the short king? And we get a hunter. Okay. Not my first choice, but definitely better than some. Kinda glad we just didn't get priest or warlock, to be honest. I think any other class would be fine. Okay, let's create our character. I don't even know if you can make a gnome look good. He might look a little like Millhouse Manastorm, because it seems fitting for the expansion.
Yes, now we're cooking.
And of course, we're going to name it Expand Locked.
All right.
Okay, here we are. Probably my first gnome ever going to be leveled. So the issue here is that TBC goes up to level 71, and max level right now is 80. So I can level past it, but it will be very slow and hard to get XP for myself past level 71. The ways that you can level from 71 to 80 in previous expansions are as follows. Professions, with mining and herbing. We have battle pets, which give a pretty decent amount of XP for battling and capturing. We have PvP. We will need to do PvP for Marks of Honor for all the PvP gear in each expansion, so PvP will come in handy, and it will also help us level up. Lastly, we have world quests. Some expansions, including TBC, don't have world quests, so for me, that's going to be a little harder to start off with. Guess there's nothing else to do, but let's get into it.
Given the recent political upheaval in Ironforge, the gnomes have suddenly found themselves unwelcomed guests within the city. Leveraging their ingenious technologies and unquenchable spirit for adventure, the gnomes have begun to reevaluate their role within Cosmodan. Under the inventive leadership of High Tinker Gelbin Mekatork, the gnomes now plan a daring campaign against the barbarous Trogs to retake their former capital of Gnomrigon. With the odds stacked against them, the gnomes are counting on brave heroes such as you to stand and be counted. Your people's greatest hour draws near.
There we are, Mr. Nomi. Ugh, that looked terrible. Let me fix that. That's better. Okay, in our first ever quest, Pinned Down. Let's go kill these gnomes. Seems odd for the first quest to commit genocide, but hey, I won't judge the Alliance. Okay, that's number 6, first quest completed. So, to be able to start the series, we need to get to Outlands. I will be rushing to level 10, where then I will be able to choose Outlands as our leveling expansion, and there we can finally start our journey of the expansion locked. Hey, look, level 2 already, almost there. This next quest is now saving 6 gnomes. Okay, at least it's better than killing them. I've been playing this game for over 15 years. No matter what expansion I play or chose, I won't start from 0%. I will automatically have stuff unlocked. It's just finishing up that needs doing. It's what I love to do: farm mounts, achievements, collect transmog, but there is still so much stuff I need to unlock and finish, and that's where this series comes in. Looking at the challenges ahead of us, there are some that stick out right away when thinking of the Burning Crusade. Firstly, there's a lot of reputations that are needed to farm on a lot of characters due to most vendors having soulbound recipes for every profession. Secondly, there are 3 legendary items I will need to farm. The bow from Sunwell, which I technically have on my ult, so I have the achievement, but I'm making it a fact that we need it on our main character to be able to progress. And the other 2 are from Illidan and the Black Temple. I will need both Warglaives of Azzinoth, which I currently have never had on my ult yet, so I will receive that achievement when we earn it. I have thought of some side rules for this expansion series that I will randomly mention throughout the series and streams if you want to come to Twitch to watch me live. Firstly, I have created an unlock system to be able to unlock alt characters for this expansion, which I will explain more in episode 2. Secondly, along with the legendary bow acquiring, I will also need to tame each and every type of color of Ravager pet in the Outlands, as they were my favorite pet when first playing this game back in the original Burning Crusade. And lastly, once I reach the Outlands, I will give my main, and only my main, 4 bags and 4 reagent bags, just so the journey isn't killer to my mental health and I won't want to continue playing due to inventory space. It's a minor buff for me that will help me keep playing. Now these bags are only going to be 22 slots, so not very big anyways, and all my alts will have to acquire their own bags, or this character will have to acquire it for them. The main reason for these bags are my worry on having to keep items for enchanting and disenchanting. As I can't buy greens from the auction house, and there isn't really an easy way to get items at first, I will be keeping most greens as a backup to be able to send to my first alt once unlocked. I really forgot how much running is in this game. Luckily, we got Hunter as our main, as we have disengage and aspect of the cheetah pretty early on for the quick early game. Another issue that I realized I overlooked when I spun the Burning Crusade, which actually may be the hardest task, is all the rares that we have to kill. There are 20 rares that we have to get lucky enough to kill. I have farmed them before and I've only killed them around 5 times in my 15 plus years of playing this game. Each rare also has around 4 different transmog that they can drop. So if we're lucky, and that's very lucky, we have to kill rares around 80 times. That may be impossible. I've never really liked the gnome race in this game, as I don't really care for engineers and tinkerers. I find them kinda boring, which is probably the reason I have never leveled a gnome before. The starting zone does not intrigue me to create a gnome and level through it. Luckily, we only have to get to level 10, which we were level 7 and almost 8. That won't take too long. 1 quest. There we go, level 8. The next 2 levels should come by pretty quick. On average, I think once we hit the new place, we are only a quest or 2 away from being level 10. But until then, I have to grind out these quests and try to make them fun and entertaining.
Run.
Now to complete the last quest in the starting zone. When we get to the next town, we can start getting our professions. This character, since it is my main, will have all professions possible: cooking, fishing, archaeology, as well as leatherworking and skinning. My alts will focus on the other main professions, but not on the side professions that are not needed. A big grind in TPC will be the professions, with each reputation having vendors that have multiple recipes for different professions. I will have to get exalted on a lot of characters on most reputations to be able to unlock all the recipes. At least most of these will be easy with dungeons and raids, as heroic dungeons are daily and give a pretty decent amount of reputation. Next, let's fly over to Ironforge to complete this quest. While we're over there, we might as well take the opportunity to learn the rest of our professions on this character so we don't have to learn them later on. So the first things first, let's go to the skinning trainer. Beside him should be the leatherworking trainer, so let's learn both of these. Guess I shouldn't forget to buy a skinning knife. Okay, and where to next?
Oh shit. Here we go again.
Now let's fly back to finally get level 10 and make our way over to Outlands. I only need just over half a level, so this shouldn't take too long. Maybe a quest or two? First quest we'll complete is killing these trolls. Hopefully with the XP we gain from killing them and hitting in the quest, we will hit level 10 and not have to do anymore. And let's see... Ooh, so close. Less than 1 bar left. Okay, let's grab these quests and see which we can complete the easiest. I ended up just killing like 5 mobs on the way to the quest and ended up getting enough XP anyways. Here we are, level 10. Now that we are level 10, it means we unlock a few things. First, we unlock the ability to choose talents. Since I never really play Hunter, and I believe the Hunter should be revolved around the pet aspect of it, we're going to choose BM. We may switch it later on, but for now we will see. My talents are also going to be chosen on almost all classes at my own preference, and not going to be looked up from a guide. I think I will learn how to play the class better if I understand what the class does first by reading the talents and not just copying from a website. Now, the only thing left to do, let's get to Outlands and start the expansion log. And here we are, the Burning Crusade. We are starting in Outlands at 17.85% in Hellfire Peninsula. In each zone I start, I will quickly go over the main things we need to farm, like dungeons, raids, rares, reputations, and battle pets. The dungeons and raids I will go into more detail in the first run of each of them. For our first zone, it consists of 3 dungeons, Hellfire Ramparts, Blood Furnace, and Shattered Halls. It has 1 raid, which contains only 1 boss, which is Megtherodon's Lair. We also have 1 reputation to grind, which is Honor Hold, 1 battle pet, which is the Scorpid, and we have 3 rares to farm, Full Gorge, Mechthorg the Wild, and Vorchem Doomspeaker. I guess we should probably get a pet. Time to go get a Ravager. I will be playing and leveling in War Mode, but to turn on War Mode, you must be level 20. This will allow me to find rares more often and not have as many people around while questing and leveling. I'll turn it off eventually if I start getting griefed by players. Here is a list of pros and cons I came up with while leveling my main character. First pro is, there are 31 mounts to farm in this expansion and I already have them all, so I will not need to farm any of them. Same goes with achievements. There are plenty of achievements in TBC, but I already have quite a lot of them, so I will not need to farm a majority of them. This expansion does not have dungeon or raid achievements for specific killings or tasks, so there are way less than other expansions. The third pro is the best one. There is no needing of grinding anima or artifact power or anything of the sorts. None of that was created yet. Worst thing I need to grind is the rare spawns. And lastly, the dungeons never go into Mythic plus rotation, so I can always enter them whenever I want and don't have to wait until the seasons are done to farm specific difficulties like other expansions. Now, onto the cons of the expansion. These cons are not very extreme, just mostly the worst things I could think of. Firstly, we have farming the Gillies of Azeroth. They are about a 4% drop chance and you need 2 different ones, 1 offhand and 1 main hand. Secondly, this could be a con or also a pro in some ways, but raids in this expansion only have 1 difficulty. Normally, each difficulty of raid would have different sets of transmog, but in this case, the things that are most difficult to farm are the zone drop recipes. And only being able to farm specific bosses once a week for a hope that the recipe drop may be difficult and time consuming. Another weekly or daily grind that consists quite a bit in this expansion is the grinds where you only get a few quests a day to farm a bit of rep for the reputations, which thankfully you only need to do on 1 character, but there are a lot of reputations to grind on multiple characters since they all have profession recipes in the vendor. Fourthly, archaeology. Archaeology is one of the most annoying professions to grind. In some expansions, archaeology is not a thing, but in TBC it is. And lastly, the rare farming. There are over 20 rares I need to farm, which each have about 4 different transmog. Each drop about a 25% chance, so I'll need to farm them more than 4 times each. This will definitely be one of the toughest farms I have. Luckily, not too many people farm these rares, so hopefully we can find them walking around. Sorry for the overload of information this episode. As being the first episode, I assume people will have questions on what I'm doing, how does it work. Any questions you can leave down in the comments, or come ask me when I'm live on Twitch. The next episodes won't be as information heavy, but to get things started, I figured I would try to help people understand what is happening in this challenge, and if they have any questions, they can refer back to episode 1. Now to take the time while we watch this guy perform an exorcism, I'll ask, If anyone has any ideas or what they think will be the toughest issue I'll have in TBC, put it down in the comments below and maybe I missed something that I didn't realize or underestimated something. If you're playing on North America servers, you can also join a guild I will have created by the time this episode goes out called Expansion Lore. I'll try my best to keep it on at Recruitment Finder as much as possible. When creating this challenge and leveling my characters, I kept bringing myself to think, why are we going to the Outlands? What was the purpose of this expansion? It has been so long since I originally played TBC, it completely slipped my mind on anything lore-wise about the expansion, so I researched it. Why do we go to Outlands?
The Burning Legion wasn't defeated after Warcraft 3, they were only slowed. Now, they're regathering their strength, and they've chosen Outland as their foothold. At the start of the Burning Crusade, the Dark Portal reactivates in the Blasted Lands. Demons and fell orcs begin pouring into Azeroth, threatening both the Horde and Alliance. The Alliance and Horde respond. The Alliance sends an invasion force through the portal, led by heroes of the Second War, like Danath Trollbane. Their mission, stop the Legion before it can strike again. The Horde, under Thrall's new Horde, follows, seeking to reclaim their ancestral homeland and confront the orcish legacy of corruption. Meanwhile, in Outland, after the events of Warcraft 3, Illidan Stormrage, alongside Kael'thas Sunstrider and Lady Vashj, invades Outland. At the time, Outland is ruled by Magtheridon, a pit lord of the Burning Legion, who is using his blood to create an army of fell orcs. Illidan defeats Magtheridon and claims the ruined world for himself. He locks the pit lord away in Magtheridon's lair, so when we arrive, we assume Illidan is the villain. He rules with power. He commands armies. He's not friendly. But what we don't realize is this: Illidan is actually fighting the Legion in his own brutal, chaotic way. And Outland? It's not just a battleground. It's a shattered world caught between ancient wars, demonic corruption, and a future that's still uncertain. And so begins our journey into Outland. The battle for Outland has begun, and the real story is only just unfolding.
That ends the quest lines for Hellfire Peninsula. That is also going to be where I end episode 1. Next episode will start off in Zangarmarsh, and I will discuss the challenges required to unlock alt characters. If you liked the video, let me know by leaving a like. You can join my Discord down in the description. While you're down there, don't forget to check out Shax's series on Shadowlands Expansion Locked. Thanks again for watching the video, and see you in the next episode in Expansion Locked.